Landria here. Are you ready to change your thinking? I know it's not easy, so I want to give you 3 simple steps. Well, some aren't as simple, but we're going to give you 3 ways to change your thinking, because sometimes you think you're going to go to a positive thought and it's just not happening. So let's get busy right now. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live an awesome life. I had to say that 3 times. I sort of forgot. What happened? I don't know. Let's keep going. I'm here to supply the tools for you to manifest anything. You can go to landriaonkka.com or .net and get all kinds of tools, from money to business to spiritual to just clearing up all this wah, wah, wah in the head, right? Do you have it? We all do, right? Why do we have it? We are part of a collective consciousness on a very dense planet. If we're at one energy, we are sharing everything in the one pool. One pool of energy. Can you imagine that? You're swimming around with everything in there, right? This is why we don't want to do the farmed fish. Yeah, you know, everything's in there. So we want a clear, clean water. And when we put negative thoughts into there, we're polluting not just ourselves, but everyone. So all those thoughts out there, all this, everything, whether it's on video, past, present, future, is all contributing. So everything you do right now continually shifts your future, Everything is happening right now. So the power of now, Eckhart Tolle, right? That's not new stuff. That's been said for centuries. Why? Because everything's happening right now that affects everything from this moment forward. And every time you switch a thought, that future shifts, right? And this is how I keep saying you can shift your reality. Forget law of attraction. There's nothing separate from you. When you shift a thought, you shift your future, you shift your present moment. Right? You're not thinking the same way. You're not the same person. And all of a sudden your focus, according to quantum physics, turns that wave into a particle. Something starts to come into your reality. And the more you focus on that, the more it shows up. 3 things, 3 ways to change those negative thoughts. What the heck is this? It's my brain. Why is a negative thought coming in? I don't want it. And then we battle it. So what are we doing? We're putting more focus on the negative thought. Let's not analyze why it's there. For step number 1. Let's just say, and if you've seen my 3-second manifesting video, you know how effective that is. Because I don't say, well, this is a negative thought, let's switch to a positive one. I have you ask yourself, what am I manifesting? That thought is manifesting. Boom. I must switch over to a positive thought. What am I manifesting? Boom. My mobile app's coming out soon. It's going to help you all day long. Catch that. What am I manifesting? You don't say, oh, that's a bad thought, I'm going to switch. Oh, what am I manifesting? And then you imagine that negative thought, especially judgment. We all do the judgment thing, right? That is a negative thought. Every negative thought is manifesting. It's taking you to a lower frequency. You don't want to be hanging out down there. There's not nice stuff down there. Cause and effect, right? You can manifest anything from down there. It's not going to be good. So we don't want to have those negative thoughts. So number 1, what am I manifesting? Boom, and you pick a positive thought. Now, in 3-second manifesting, that video, I actually have you pick something you really love and desire and keep going to that same thing, because the more you focus on that, the more you have a chance of manifesting it. Unfortunately, most people are not believing that they can do that. So pick something realistic. Pick something that you feel good and confident about, and that makes it much easier to switch over to the positive thought. The beach house or the vacation or a loving relationship, whatever it is, you know you can have it. So boom, and it doesn't matter what the negative thought is. We must switch over. Switch over. What am I manifesting? Okay, maybe that's not working for you. So let's go to number 2. This is when we start to put some thought into things, because we're not, getting out of the thinking process, which is the ego. You never actually have to think, right? You just know things. So the second step, the second way to end negative thinking and to switch over to the positive, higher frequency, positive thinking, opening up the gateways, eliminating the obstacles. Every negative thought is an obstacle. It's a block and a barrier to the things you desire. Why? Because you're focused on the negative. You're manifesting the negative with the focus. The thought manifests. So it's a barrier to what you want. You want this over here and you're focused on this. That's all it is. I'm focused on the boulder, not what's past the boulder. So the second one is, how do I get rid of the boulder? Why is the boulder there? How am I going to move the boulder? First one is, I'm going to hop over and go to that positive thought. Hop over the boulder. Second one, oh, the boulder's there. All right, I can't get past it. You go, okay, why is the boulder there? Why is the boulder there? Okay, so we have to ask ourselves, what advantage do I have? What is the purpose of this thought? Is this thought constructive? Is this thought constructive? So if you can't get away from it and you're really focused on that thought, then let's take a look at it. Let's put it out there. I always say, don't run from fear or negativity. Look it right in the face. Just look it in the face and observe it. So when we switch over 3-second manifesting, what am I manifesting? We're not running from it. We're just switching over to that which we desire. I'm not going, I want to stop having this. We're just switching over. Second one, is this thought constructive? This is a boulder sitting there. Why am I not hopping over the boulder? Is this a constructive thought? So you actually ask yourself all day long, am I having constructive thoughts? Because you may not even catch yourself in a negative thought. Is this constructive? What is it creating? So the first one, we're just not putting any thought. We're just switching over. Second one is, let's look and ask, what am I trying to create with this thought? And it might scare the crap out of you. Why? Because guess what? It's manifesting things. And the more you have that thought over and over and over and over, the more it creates. What am I trying to create through this thought? What am I doing with this thought? So if it's that you're broke, ask yourself, what is constructive about this? What am I actually creating through this? And then you realize, I'm creating disempowerment. I'm creating, and by the way, this is not going to hurt you. This is not negative because you're already in that space already. What we're doing is we're dissolving the fear behind it. I want you to look at it and just say, I am constructing something negative here. What is it? It's a false belief that I think I'm broke or I'm going to be alone or I'm never going to get this, never that. And what is that? Am I being constructive with this thought? Because a lot of you think, well, there's nasty stuff in the world that's not going away. No, it's not, as long as you keep thinking that. Opinions are great, but even those opinions, are they constructive? So that's the second thing. Am I being constructive with this thought or belief or opinion? So even if you're walking around and you're just not realizing that your whole thought process is based on a negative belief, that the world is crappy, or that people are evil, or that you're separate from anybody, is that a constructive belief or thought? Is it constructive? Because if it's not, why would you ever want to hang on to any belief that is not constructive, that is not coming from light and love? All right? Light and love. This is not a positive thought. This is not a positive comment. This is not contributing anything positive other than to tell somebody they're wrong or this is how things are. We're not the authority on anything, and there's nothing I say on this channel that you have to believe. I'm here to offer tools. You don't have to take them, but I'm not here to be the be-all, end-all authority. I'm not walking on water yet. And if you are, please, I'm going to get you on my show because I want to hear what you have to say. But the truth is that we think we know everything and that it applies to everybody. It doesn't. Each of us has our own reality. That's quantum physics. That's just the facts. All right? Because we can both look at the same thing and have completely different thoughts and feelings about it. My reality would be different than yours, and that is the truth. So just understand, your whole reality is being created by you with that thought or that belief. So really take a look at that. And then you get to decide what's the new thought and belief. What is that new belief? And it's going to be tough sometimes to move past what you believe is true. And make sure that you're not coming from the ego, because all of this is ego driven, all of it. Whenever you think you're right or this is how things are and blah, 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 it's all ego driven. In fact, worry is all ego driven. Worry is about me, what I'm getting, what I'm not getting. 100% ego driven, and that's what makes us unhappy and struggle. So here's the third thing. Let's really dig into it. The The third thing is like, if you can't even switch over to a more constructive belief or whatever, just ask yourself, where's this all coming from? Where did it all come from? Where in my history, or what I heard, or what I was taught, created the foundation for this negative thinking? Now, I have a friend, she's an amazing student, amazing, brilliant person who has amazing things happen. Every time she takes my courses and webinars, she always tells me about these amazing things that happen. But she told me she struggles with judgment. Well, yeah, hello. We're all walking around doing that, right? Because even a thought is, we say this is right or wrong, or I like that or I don't like that. It's still a judgment. It's part of the human, the whole density of being human. So I want you to just take the third step. If you can't break through and you're still in the second step, just not able to let go, saying, well, it's not constructive, but this is how things are, right? And they're wrong, and I need to tell them, or right? And then you can't get past your own ego. The third thing is, if there's any part of these thoughts or beliefs that are negative, where did it come from? So that's when we're going to dig deep. Where did it come from? Because you didn't come up with it yourself. I guarantee you 100%. It's impossible. You can't possibly come up with this by yourself. If you were the wolf child and I put you out in the forest, right? What would the wolf child do? Wolf child would not have any opinions, no thoughts, no religious beliefs, no right nor wrong other than what they learned through their own experience, like, owie, I won't eat that again, or touch the rose with the thorns, or, fire burns. And that's self-taught. That's just being out there and experiencing life on its own. But we have way too much input coming on all the time. Hey, listen, I would love to go to a monastery and just sit there and, all day long. That would be great. Going to, the super awakened state, the rainbow body, and then, shrivel up into some little thing and go. But you know what? We didn't choose that route. I chose a route where I'm putting myself out there in front of people and hopefully making a difference. And if I make one difference on this planet, I've done my job, right? And so I want to just ask you this. Step number three, not able to switch over, I do, it's just a concept problem. Second one, am I being constructive? What am I actually creating here? What belief can I change? Is that a constructive belief? Is that a constructive thought? So you're looking at. Number three, where did it come? Let's really look at it. My mom and dad told me that, or I got influenced by certain people or groups, and I hung on to that and asked if any of it is negative at all, if it's judgmental, if you're seeing anybody separate from you at all. And when I say separate, in other words, right, wrong, they're the bad people, they're the wrong color, they're the wrong religion. What a load of crap. Humans get taught crazy stuff because it's to their advantage to separate ourselves, because then they can go into power. If I can call a certain thing or belief or a color or whatever it is as wrong, then I get to rise up here into power. And that's what the ego wants to do. The more it separates, the more it thinks it's controlling, but actually the bigger downfall. Because you know what? When you're putting yourself up here, it's a long way down. It's a long way down. So I want you to just remember, if that's what you're doing, ask yourself where it came from. Sit down and have a real good thought session about it. Really meditate on it and say, what beliefs and where's this coming from that is not mine? And some of it could be trauma from childhood, and or believing that you are less than. And it's going to take a while to work through that. And that's what my courses do for you, is let's work through that. And sometimes it will take, some real conditioning, and it may never go away, but you don't have to believe it anymore. So break it down and say, you know what? I am not these beliefs. I am none of these thoughts. I'm a clean slate. I'm a perfect light being, an amazing, beautiful, perfect light being. And all of this is just information that's come in. And I, as a person with free will, get to choose what I do and don't pick. And here's your test. What are you going to pick? What are you going to choose? I don't know about you, I want to choose the absolute highest thoughts. And every time something comes in my head, I say, you know what? I'm choosing the highest thought. That's absolutely not true. I'm choosing the highest thought because it's going to come in. What do you do on the third one when you go into that space? You have to decide what you're going to dissolve, because once you start to dig deeper into it and you realize, holy cow, I didn't realize that that was passed down, generation after generation, and that if I don't believe a certain thing, it's wrong. I just want you to understand this is at the root of the struggle of the entire planet. This is it. Separation and seeing anybody else different than something perfect and beautiful expressing itself. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. Some of it's really crappy and nasty, but you don't have to judge it. You can just see it for what it is. Another student here doing some really low density stuff. What am I doing? And turn that spotlight right on you and say, what am I doing? And my thoughts about that person doing nasty stuff and my judgment is equally as bad. It's equally as low. When I say bad, I mean low frequency. Equally as low frequency. Because if they're thinking bad stuff and then you're thinking bad stuff about them, why are you any different? You're not. The toughest thing we ever have to do is to go to a higher, loving, unconditionally loving space with the lowest dense beings on this planet. Isn't that what Christ did? We're higher than that? Now, we have those powers, and we have that ability to love unconditionally, because we are loved unconditionally, and we do some pretty bad stuff here on this planet. And we're loved no matter what. Nothing you do is absolutely the be-all, end-all, putting you down in some place that you're never going to get out of. You always have the choice to get out of absolutely anything. There's nothing you've done that can't be turned around. Start with your thinking and your beliefs. Take a good hard look at it. Start with the number one. That's the easiest one. Do it all day. But if you have a hardcore belief that keeps generating that negative thought, you gotta pluck it out. You gotta get rid of it. So you get to decide how deeply entrenched you are in that negative thinking and why. Where's it coming from? My friend who said she judges people, she knows where it's coming from. She grew up around that. That's all she grew up. That's deep conditioning. So she's just conditioned to do it. She's not thinking about it. She just does it because the brain is wired that way. So she has to catch herself all day and ask herself, why would I ever have a negative thought about another person? We are all conditionally beautiful, loved beings. Why would I ever judge another person or have any negative thoughts toward them? Why? It would hurt them so deeply, because we're all children. We're all little cupcakes inside. No matter how these exteriors look on one another, that nasty person or that boss deep down is a very sensitive, beautiful being that just wants to be loved and wants to love. And if you give that, you will be amazed at the response you'll get from everybody. Even if it's just through your thoughts and your prayers, it affects all of us. Do that. You hold that power. It's pretty amazing. Why would you go into something negative? That's nasty. Nobody wants to be around that. And so you will repel the higher frequency thinkers, right? And you don't want to do that, because then you're pushing off all your opportunities and all your higher, let's just say, probabilities that I know you want. So through this, we can open the doorway for anything you want to manifest. You can manifest anything. You can end the worry, you can change your thoughts, and you can do it in 3 steps. You get to choose which one you have to go to, depending on where you are and how deep it goes. I hope this was helpful for you. As usual, I'm going to ask you, now I have to ask, if you'll please subscribe and share these videos. Go to landriaonkka.com. Go to landriaonkka.net. One's for the business and the money side of things, and the other one is for the spiritual. And they both work together, because you should live an amazing life in every area of your life. From what you do for a living to how you earn your money, how you contribute to the planet, and when you come home to your family and friends, right? It's all good. You get to choose. You're whole and perfect. strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. This is a free workshop over here. This is the internet training. It's a free workshop. You can check it out and see what we're doing. See the amazing things that people are doing online that are sending messages out to the planet, that's getting rewards for you to earn money on things that you're doing that are good, right? We can change the world this way, but we have to educate ourselves and take control. And you can do that in the most positive, amazing way. You're whole and perfect, my friend. You are abundant, healthy, wealthy, wise, beyond your imagination. I send you blessings and awakening. Namaste.